Hi, everyone. Okay, well, I'm just going live on here today because I want to talk about what's been going on with me. And maybe you're going through something similar that you can relate to. So I wanted to express the energies and what's happening. So obviously, we have a very intense um, eclipse that's coming up in a few days. And that energy is obviously, and well, not obviously, but inviting us to really release some of this lower vibrational energy. And it's not just like a feeling or whatever, it is something that you keep recreating out of fear from me, it was from my childhood. So, um, for example, um, I had this really difficult time with knowing what's really happening and what is somewhat illusion, right? And so, like, because I keep having these same situations come up in my life, and it's not like they're right in front of me in reality, but it's just like this extreme fear. So, for instance, the first one is um, me speaking without censoring myself. And this is one of the reasons that I am doing this live so that I don't censor myself, is because I have this extreme fear of saying whatever I want to say. And this comes from a lot of like doing internal work with myself and then my therapist, which is super important. Like, if you're on a spiritual awakening journey, I highly suggest that you have a therapist. Again, this is just my own experience, but without a therapist, there have been times where I have felt like I wasn't going to make it through a spiritual hurdle or a mental challenge or releasing of a fear, right? There were times where I thought like that I was going to have like a breakdown. Um, but I had amazing guidance from a therapist and support. So, if you're on a spiritual journey, I highly suggest that you do that. And there's nothing wrong with that because it's like going to the gym for your mind, right? They're able to, you talk and they're able to kind of ground you. They're able to assist you with tools and resources. And like myself, sometimes I just need someone to say, it's okay to feel the way that you're feeling. So, anyway, this has been since I was a little girl. And anytime I really wanted to say something to someone, I was afraid that I would hurt them or that I would get them in trouble. And this comes from two different places, I think. And it's crazy because I'm still having that issue with self expression. And one of them was that through my therapy work, um, I did have like memories of being molested as a child. And this person had told me that it was not okay to tell anyone because they would get in a lot of trouble. And of course, that person I loved very much. So I didn't want to get them into trouble. That's where this literally, like, I've been like silenced my whole life in speaking my truth, saying the truth, telling someone, saying no to adults, like um, all of these things that you think you'd be able to like do as an adult, I literally still could not do them. And I'm just working through them now through this eclipse energy, which is just absolutely crazy. But the other thing is that I knew that family members of mine were involved in illegal activities. And I knew that even as a young girl. And so I was always afraid that someone would retaliate against me or hurt me if I just expressed what I needed to express. So it's been really challenging for me. And this, like going live on YouTube or making videos where I just don't censor myself and I express myself, is really helping me to get through this fear. But getting there this morning was really difficult because I had to really face this pain of wanting to speak out, but feeling that it is not safe and that I'm going to get in trouble or someone's going to retaliate against me, and having this weight of pressure on me. And like, I literally couldn't do it. And so I just prayed this morning. I was like, God, help me. Spirit, help me to know what is true and what is not. And I was talking to my therapist and I literally said, like, I said that, yeah, these extreme fears of telling an adult how I truly felt, that comes from when I was a child. And then I said, but I don't have those people even in my life anymore. But yet I'm still extremely fearful to speak. And then I was like, wait a minute. I just said that that extreme fear comes from when I was a child, but I'm not a child anymore. So like I'm safe to speak now. And something released because I was able to recognize that this is just something on loop from a very long time ago that does not need to keep occurring. And so like, I just kind of jumped on here and I'm like, well, let's talk about it, because I feel that if we can understand that this energy is very hard to release, and understanding like, no, that's not from right now, that's from years past. So like, I'm free of that. I don't know. I had this vision the other day of the elephant who has been freed, or is, well, no, chained around his like foot since he was a baby, but he's an adult now. So he can absolutely break free from those chains and run away and be free. And like, but yet he never even attempts it, because when he was a baby, he was chained at the foot. And so he still feels chained to this fear that he's going to hurt someone or someone's going to get in trouble. And so I just wanted to talk about it because it totally freed me from this extreme fear that I've had going on. And, you know, I just want to say that like, it truly is all about energy, because like, as a little girl or a little child, you don't understand what someone tells you is like true or not, because you just want to believe that that's them, because you believe that they're your caretakers and they have your best interest at heart, and like, you just trust. And so that goes down into your subconscious mind and it becomes this extreme pain later in life. And like I talked about this a few days ago, it made me feel powerless, that I couldn't speak what I wanted to speak. It made me feel like I knew I wanted to say something about this, because inside you can feel that it wasn't right, but yet this person saying, don't say anything or else this other person will get in a lot of trouble. And so you're like, oh, okay, I'm not going to say anything then. And then it's like you're trapped in your own body of like conflicting issues, right? Like, you know, you need to say this because like it's for your own health, like you need to speak these things, but yet you're too afraid to harm someone else. You don't want to do that. So anyway, that's, as a child, you know, that's how we can really, really harm children, when we are maybe telling them things that aren't true, but they can feel the truth and they want to trust and believe. And that's what creates this extreme like feeling of powerlessness in them, which is truly abusive. And I absolutely was a victim then. And it's crazy that I continued to be up until just recently, when I'm like, no, like I'm the elephant, you know? So I want to share the real experience that I had today, and also to let you know that it's okay to face these hard things when they start coming up. It is okay to feel what you're feeling, and you can release this energy. I mean, I asked God to please, because I was so conflicted and so hurt inside with like raging at my own self internally. And I was like, please, God, show me what's real and what's illusion. And then that came out like an hour later. And I was like, oh my gosh, like literally God showed up for me. It's like I just spewed it out of my mouth that was in the past when I was a child. And it was true then. Like it was true then. There was real threats then, but there aren't anymore. And so like I can speak this stuff. And anyway, it's freeing. If you start going through this around the eclipse, this could be very similar energy. Maybe, of course, it's your own experience, but I encourage you to share in the comments with what you're releasing, what you're going through, because it truly is freeing that energy. It is the voice. It is the writing. Because I do a ton of writing. Sorry about that. And I think that it's so important to make sure that if you have kids, that it's okay to say no to adults. It's okay to tell hard things to adults. It's okay to tell how you're really feeling. What else did I write? Yeah, that it's just okay for kids to tell someone how they're really feeling or what's going on. And it's okay to say no. And it's okay to reach out to someone who feels safe in explaining these things, but so that they can be free of this like pain that they're experiencing. And, you know, it creates this victim in children that makes you feel extremely powerless to speak. And I see where so many other of my experiences have come from that exact situation. And because I was holding on to that energy. And so, of course, they were on repeat, you know, to finally have it hurt so bad that I finally start speaking out. So that's my story today. And hopefully I will continue to share what's going on. All right. Have a great day. Bye.